Hello everyone and welcome. In this video I'm going to be showing my death predictions for the final season of The Walking Dead and the extended season 10 episodes. And what I'm going to be doing in this video is going through every single character who's still alive on the show and putting forward my reasons as to why I believe they're either going to live or die. So without further ado, let's begin. So first up are Carol and Daryl, and I've put these two together because the pair of them are going to be in their own spin-off show once The Walking Dead ends. And I believe that this spin-off show is going to take place after The Walking Dead in terms of its timeline, so that means that they must survive the final season. Now I know that some fans have speculated that this spin-off show could take place during one of The Walking Dead's various time skips, but I just don't see that happening because I think that kind of overcomplicates things. You've then got to have all the events that take place in that show fit in with the existing timeline. Also, you know, these characters were up to different things during the time skips anyway. I mean, after Rick dies, Carol is off with the king, living with Ezekiel, and Daryl is living in the woods with a dog on his own, so then why would they go on their own adventures? And in terms of creating a show and marketing a show, I just think it makes sense to have it set after the end of The Walking Dead, because then you can have a fresh start. It's almost like a soft reboot, kind of like how, you know, after Rick died in season 9, or Rick went off in season 9, you know, the show kind of started again from that point. And I've always said to people, if you dislike seasons 7 and 8, just start again from season 9-6, because it's almost like the show resets and it has these new characters and you don't really need to know what happens. I mean, it does help, but you don't really need to watch everything, so you can just kind of start from that point and see what happens. So I think this is going to be very much the same for the Carol and Daryl show. I think that AMC want to not only attract long-term Walking Dead fans, but also attract new viewers to the show. So I don't think it would be easy to do that if you had to have this in-depth understanding of all The Walking Dead's timelines and its 11 seasons. So that's why I don't think it's going to be set in the past. I think it's going to be set after the show. It's going to be a fresh start. It's going to be something that new fans can jump aboard on. And it might be a show that fans who gave up with the show a couple of seasons ago, they might watch it as well because they know who Carol and Daryl are and they like the characters. So yeah, I just think this show will be set after the end of The Walking Dead, and that means Carol and Daryl will survive to the end. So Alden, or Alden, however you say his name, I think he's going to die. I just think his story's up, to be honest. I mean, he's lost Enid, he's lost Sutton. I don't really think there's much more for the show to tell in terms of his story. I think his time is up. His character occupies this weird space in which he's not quite a Eugene or Rosita, you know, one of the main side characters, yet he's not someone like Scott from Alexandria, who is kind of just an extra who says the odd word every couple of episodes. He's somewhere in the middle, and as such I think that makes him dispensable, because you don't want to kill a Rosita or Gabe because they're the best characters, or they're major characters even, and people get upset about it. But you also don't want to kill a Scott, because if you kill someone who only says a couple of lines here and there, no one's going to care. So you want to kill that kind of character who's stuck in the middle. I just think Alden is in that dispensable zone in terms of his character, and as such I think he's going to die in the final season. Maggie's going to be absolutely fine, no doubt about it. There's no way they bring Maggie back just to kill her off, although they did do that with Morales. But then again, you know, she's not a Morales, is she? She's a major character in the show. Yeah, I just think she's going to make it to the end. There's no way they would bring Maggie back and kill her off and then have Herschel be an orphan, so Maggie will make it to the end. Sorry Eugene haters, but I think Eugene's going to make it to the end of the show. I just think there's no way that this character who's introduced as this coward would survive for so long, then just drop dead in the final season. I think he's going to survive, I think he's going to settle down with Stephanie, and I think he's going to get the happy ending. So yeah, that might not please those who hate Eugene, but I think that's the way it is. Now, Negan is probably one of the toughest ones on this list for me, because when I originally wrote the script, I said that I thought that Negan was going to die, because I said that if the final season brings back Rick, and we've already had Maggie return as well, you know, these two might still be dubious about Negan and might not believe that he's changed despite what he's done during season 10 and 11, but then, you know, they weren't, the season 9 and 10, but then they weren't there to see that, so they would still foster a lot of hate towards him and not kind of believe that he is a different man to what he was in season 7 and 8. And I thought that maybe that would mean that Negan would then have to do some kind of heroic sacrifice in the final season to prove to them that he has changed and to finally complete his redemption arc. But now, I'm not sure. Now I think that Negan will survive. Negan's a fan favourite. I mean, I struggled through his character in season 7 and 8, but I just love how he's become one of the best characters on the show in season 9 and 10. Jeffrey Dean Morgan just steals every scene that he's in, and I don't actually think that seasons 7 and 8 are as bad as I thought they were when watching them again. I mean, it does make a huge difference, I think, when you watch something weekly compared to kind of just binging it through. I mean, I still think they're subpar compared to the rest of the show, but I don't think they're that bad. And I actually enjoyed Negan more watching it a second time round, whereas, on first viewing, I just found him to be this annoying prick. So yeah, I think that most people now who have stuck with The Walking Dead like Negan, he's this iconic character. There's still people cosplaying Negan all the time. There's still, people all know about the bat. It's kind of turned into a meme at this point with Negan and his bat and his lineup, but everyone knows who Negan is, and I think he's going to survive the show now. So I think he will survive. I think maybe it might be a bittersweet ending. Maybe he will leave the communities and go off on his own, leave the Commonwealth or whatever, but I don't know, maybe my opinion will change again in a couple of weeks, but I don't know. For now, at the time of this video, I'm going to go with Negan will survive. Next up, we have Rosita and Gabriel, and I put these two together because the pair are in a relationship, and I think that both of them will have the same outcome, and I think that both of them will survive. Rosita and Gabriel have both been through a hell of a lot since they've joined the show, kind of both developed into really good characters, the both of them, despite both of them being a bit iffy when they first started on the show. I mean, Gabriel was just a kind of a coward when he first started, and Rosita didn't really do a lot when she first came on the show, but she has grown into her role as kind of one of the leading ladies on the show as the show's progressed. And I think they're both going to survive. I think they both deserve a bit of happiness. I don't think that the show would kill two of the longest serving characters who still remain on it now, so I think Gabe and Rosita will both be fine. Jerry has to survive, right? Surely. You can't kill Jerry. Everyone loves Jerry. He's just like this lovable, cuddly goofball. And yeah, Jerry will be fine. I think if they were going to kill Jerry, they would have killed him off when he was stuck in the cave in season 10. And I think he'll be fine. I think his wife Nabila will be fine as well. And I think Jerry and Nabila and his little kids will live happily ever after. So I think that Jerry will make it. However, when it comes to Jerry's boss, Ezekiel, I think that he is going to die. I think that Ezekiel will die in the final season of the show. He's got cancer, and I know that the Commonwealth probably does have the resources to treat cancer and diagnose it and whatever, but I still think it'll be too late. I think, even if he gets the treatment, it won't cure him, and I think Ezekiel will die. I think in terms of his character, it makes sense to kill him because he's been through all these bad things. He's lost the kingdom, he's lost Henry, he's lost Carol. I don't think, it's as if Ezekiel was going to suddenly have a change of heart and become, this happy-go-lucky guy again, and everything's going to be great for him. I just think, he's had all this bad shit. Cancer is there as well, and I think that's the end of his story. He's lost everything, and even if he didn't have cancer, I don't see his character overcoming everything he's lost and having new exciting story arcs in the future. I just think Ezekiel's going to die. And as utterly horrific as it is to say, I actually hope that Ezekiel dies from cancer. Now that's not because I'm some kind of sick bastard who hates him or wants to see him die or anything like that, so I'll try and explain, but I think cancer is 1 in 3 people get cancer, don't they? So it's incredibly common. Most of us will get cancer. And we've never really seen anyone on The Walking Dead just die from a disease like this. And in the end of the world, these diseases would be more deadly because you can't treat them and you can't get diagnosed and, you can't just go to the doctor. And even if you could, they don't have the equipment to scan cancers and whatever. So if anything, we should have seen more people die from diseases like that. It is really horrible to see this guy survive the end of the world, lose everyone he's loved, go through all this shit just to die from cancer. But again, that's what happens in real life. You see people who have a really tough life and they go through everything and go through all these troubles and strifes, and then one day they get ill and they're dead. That's how life works. Life can be a fucking bastard. It can just be a fucking bitch and do that to people. And I just think it would be a good death, if that makes any sense, for him to die of something like that after going through everything he's been through. It'd be kind of strangely poetic. And from a viewer perspective, I think it'd be better to see that happen rather than him get diagnosed and then have chemo and then survive and then come out going, and yet I smile, I've beaten cancer, and yet I smile. Because I just think, cancer is a bastard. It does happen randomly to people, and it would be kind of strangely ironic to survive all that shit just to die of cancer. And, part of me wants to see that. I think that's a place that The Walking Dead should explore, because it should explore how unfair life is. And I think that this kind of sense of unfairness would fit in with the show exploring the Commonwealth because, well, at least in the comics anyway, the Commonwealth treat its people very unfairly. People are sort of judged on what they did previously before the apocalypse. So if you're a lawyer or whatever like Michonne was, then you get given a nice house. Whereas if you're someone like Daryl, who's seen as like this working class poor person, then you get put to doing shitty manual labour jobs and get put in like a shitty house. So the Commonwealth is an extremely unfair place, and kind of that sense of unfairness would kind of fit in with Ezekiel's death. I don't know if I'm making like a very thin connection between these 2 points. I don't know, but in my mind it kind of fits in. Ezekiel dying from cancer kind of fits in thematically with the themes that are explored at the Commonwealth, so there you go. No way in hell Judith will die, she's going to live, so let's move on to the next person. Well, I should have said persons because I'm going to put Luke, Kelly and Yumiko all together, and that's simply because I think they're going to survive. I think they will make it to the end. No particular reason why, I just think they're likeable characters and I think they will all survive. However, I don't think that Magna will survive from their group. I mean, I know that she was gone for some of season 10 and then she came back, but I just see her dying because she's been kind of aloof lately. She's had this fallout with Yumiko. She's kind of like a lone wolf and she has this habit of trying to go out on her own. There's been times where characters have had to kind of call her away from danger. I mean, there's one moment when she's trying to fight walkers outside, is it Hilltop, and Connie's, well, she doesn't, I was going to say Connie says to her, but she doesn't say it to her because she doesn't talk, but Connie sort of signs to her and says, you need to come in, we need to stop this, and yeah, I just see herself getting in danger, and I see herself dying, and I think her story is also kind of up, so yeah, I think Magna may die. So next up is Connie, and this is one of the toughest ones on this list, and like Negan, it's one that I've changed my mind on, and I've literally just changed my mind again 5 minutes ago, so excuse me if this entry is all over the place because I've changed my opinion, literally making this video. So at first I thought that Connie was going to die, and I mean, I like Connie, I think she's one of the best characters on the show since her introduction in season 9. I just think that she's adorable, I think her actress is brilliant, and she manages to convey so much without talking. You know, I think she's a great actress and her relationship with Daryl is really cute. And I thought she was going to die because I didn't see Daryl leaving with Carol if Connie was alive, because why would he leave Connie? But now, though, I'm not so sure, because Daryl, I don't believe, harbours any romantic feelings towards Connie. I mean, it did look like that was happening in season 9, but he's made it clear in season 10 through his conversations with Carol that he doesn't see Connie in that way. I don't know whether he just doesn't see any women romantically, you know, in a romantic way, or whether he is holding out for Carol because he does have feelings for Carol. I have no idea. I mean, I have no idea why he wouldn't want to get with Connie. I mean, look at her. She's fucking hot. I can't believe this woman is like, you know, 40. She looks great. But anyway, now I'm kind of thinking that rather than Connie's death being the catalyst for Daryl to go off with Carol at the end of the show, I think now that maybe Daryl will just be honest with his feelings to her, and he'll say to her, look, you know, you're one of my best friends, I care a lot about you, but I don't love you. And I think that Connie will know that. She's not stupid. She has tried, I think, to kind of flirt with Daryl, and he's just been kind of not receptive to it. And I think she will know, and she will kind of just say to him, yeah, you know, I know you don't love me, go off with Carol, because I know you have stronger feelings for Carol, go off with her, and then the two will go off on their own show. And as much as I want Daryl and Connie to be together, I think that is the most probable outcome. I don't see him going off with Carol if he is in a relationship with Connie and just sort of saying, I'm your boyfriend, Connie, but I'm going to go on a road trip with Carol for the best part of, you know, however long it is for the next couple of years. See you soon, bye. So I think Daryl's just going to be honest about his feelings and say, look, I don't see you romantically and I need to go off and do my own thing. And I think Connie will give him his blessing, and I think Connie will survive. So, I mean, it's good in one way because I like Connie and I want to see her live, but I still want to see her end up with Daryl, but sadly I don't think it's going to happen. I think sadly the writers have sort of given in to the Carol and Daryl fandom. There's so many people who want these two together, and then maybe when you watch the Carol and Daryl show, part of the questions you have when watching it will be, oh, are these two going to actually get together? And then there will be an episode in the Carol and Daryl show where they do finally kiss, and all the crazy Daryl and Carol fans will go mad and go, oh my god, they're together, finally. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that to get to that point, I initially thought that it would mean that Connie would have to die, but now I don't believe that. I think Connie will survive. Next up we have Virgil, and yeah, I don't know now if this entry is going to change because of my Connie thoughts, because looking at my script, I thought that Virgil might be the one to kill Connie because he's captured her at the end of season 10. Maybe then he would die because of that, because Daryl would get revenge, but now I'm not so sure because I don't see that happening. So, to be perfectly honest, I have no idea what's going to happen with Virgil. Absolutely no idea. I mean, he is an oddball, as we've seen by him sort of drugging Michonne, and I don't trust him with Connie, but I don't know. I'm going to go flip a coin on this one. I have no idea. I'll stick with what I said originally, or what I wrote down originally in my script, in that I think Virgil will die. So next up we have Kyle, and you may be wondering who the hell Kyle is. And unfortunately I can't explain that to you because I have no idea who he is either. Honestly, I'm amazed that this guy has such a huge Walking Dead Wikia page. I mean, is this actually real? Or is this just a fan who's made themselves into a character and are pretending to be in the show? I have no idea. I have no idea who this dude is. I mean, I must have seen him at some point in the show, but this is not ringing any bells. So, I don't know. I mean, if he's been around this long, I'll just say survive. I think Aaron will make it to the end. I mean, he's lost enough as well, like a lot of the characters on his list. He's lost his boyfriend, he's lost an arm. He's now got Gracie to look after. He's one of the best characters on the show, I think, and he's really developed into a strong character. Yeah, I think Aaron will be fine. Next up we have Heath, and I mean, this is actually assuming they bring his character back. And if they do, then yeah, I think he'll be fine. But if they don't bring him back, then we probably won't hear anything else about him. But yeah, if Heath comes back to The Walking Dead, then I think he'll survive because they won't bring him back just to kill him off. But if he doesn't come back, then God knows, who knows? You know, he may even end up on Fear the Walking Dead, who knows? Michonne, she's not going to die. Next. Now we have the man himself, Rick Grimes, and I believe that Rick has to come back in The Walking Dead's final season. Surely they've got to bring Rick back, right? So I think Rick will come back, and I've changed my mind about this. This is another one which I've changed my mind on, because when I wrote the script originally, I said that I believed that Rick would survive, because he teased Rick's death heavily in Season 9, Episode 5, so if they were going to kill him, why didn't they just kill him then? And also it'd be quite counterintuitive to have this character go away for a season and a half, only for him to then come back and end up dead. Having the main character come back after a disappearance to then die would be extremely anticlimactic. And also I don't think Rick's death in the comics was particularly well received, of having Rick die to this random bratty kid. So I argue that perhaps the writers at AMC and, you know, the Walking Dead TV show would change this, but now I'm not too sure. And the reason being is that I believe that a major character will have to die in the final season. And I've already now changed my opinion on Negan dying. I did think originally it would be Negan, but now I think it might be Rick. I think Rick may come back and he may die, because how shocking would it be to bring Rick back? You know, have him finally be reunited with Judith and Michonne after this long absence, and then have him die in a similar way to what happens in the comics. I think that will happen. Maybe I'm completely wrong, and maybe I was right initially when I did say that Rick would survive, but I don't know why. Something just tells me that I think he will die. So, I don't know. I can't explain it. I've changed my mind again. I think Rick will come back, and I think Rick will die. The man, the myth, the legend that is Scott. There's no way this man is dying. Diane is another Scott-like character. She's this able archer who's been on the show for ages, yet she's not really a side character. She only has the odd line here and there, but I think that Diane will make it to the end of the show because she's made it this far. Now we're moving on to some of the really obscure characters. Bertie. I have no idea who Bertie is, so let's just say survive. I'm sure that I've heard the name Marco on the show recently when I've been re-watching it, but I can't picture who he is, so let's just say he'll die. Who is Rachel? Are we just moving into made-up characters now? I have no idea who Rachel is, but survive. So next up is Jadis, and she's someone who I completely forgot about since her disappearance with Rick in Season 9, and I think she's going to die. I think that Jadis may help Rick escape from wherever he is, and as a result she will end up dying because of it. So yeah, I think Jadis will die. Cindy isn't going to die simply because the Walking Dead writers know how attractive I find Sydney Park, who plays her, so they will keep her alive just for me. But in all seriousness, I think that Cindy will make it to the end. Lydia is going to survive simply because Carol can't lose any more kids, surely. I mean, there's that bloody book cover in Season 10, is it, where she's hallucinating and she sees a book cover of all the dead kids, and it's like, Jesus, man, how many kids have you had die? You had Sophia, Sam, Henry. She had the two girls, didn't she? I can't remember whose names they were, Lizzie and Mika. So that's 5 kids. Surely she can't have any more kids die. You know, surely she can't have any more children who she's being a maternal mother to. Maternal mother? Isn't a maternal mother just a normal mother? I don't know. What word am I looking for? I don't know. You know what I mean? In which she's being their mum to, or being in a motherly role to. She isn't going to lose any more kids, in my opinion. So Lydia will live. Adam Sutton is next, and I'm really sort of scraping the barrel here with characters by including a baby. They're not going to kill a baby, are they? The baby's going to survive. Why did I even put this in the list? So yeah, Adam will be fine. Even if Alden dies, Aaron will take over and look after Aaron. Aaron will look after Aaron, Adam, Alden. Oh, there's too many names. But what I'm trying to say is that the baby will be fine, and Aaron may be the one who looks after the baby, when Alden dies. Too many A's. Right, let's move on. Princess, I think Princess is going to live. I don't really think she does a lot in the comics since she's introduced. I think she will just be introduced and sort of blend into the background at the Commonwealth. But I don't think they're going to kill her because for some reason fans love Princess. They love her eccentric style and how hyperactive she is and whatever. But I just find her irritating. But there you go. Anyway, for some reason she's a huge favourite with comic book readers. I don't know why. I've read the comics and I never particularly took to her, but I think Princess will survive because the Walking Dead fans seem to love Princess for some reason. Elijah is the weird dude with the mask who turned up with Maggie in the final episode of season 11. No idea, we know absolutely nothing about this guy, but let's say he'll survive because he clearly knows how to handle himself. Now we move on to arguably the most important character on this list, Dog. Dog's got to survive, right? Surely. Surely Dog will survive and Dog will be running alongside Daryl's motorbike in his spin-off show with Carol sitting on the back and the dog will be with them, and I think Dog will be fine. They're not going to kill Daryl Dixon's dog, especially after Norman Reedus was what he was saying for years. He wanted the dog on the show, didn't he? So yeah, I think Dog will be fine. Finally, we have Georgie's group, and I have absolutely no clue what to say about these people, so I'll just say that they die. Complete guess, based on absolutely nothing. Let's just say they die. Maybe the Commonwealth take a disliking to them, or maybe in the Maggie episodes we see in season 10, maybe the reason Maggie leaves Georgie's group is because something bad happened there and they ended up dying. I don't know, but I'm just going to say they die, based on absolutely nothing. So there you go, that's my list covering every named character on the show. I believe that's every named character. There may be the few odd, kind of extras who I've missed out, I don't know, but I've tried to cover everyone who is left on the show, and that's my list on whether they will live or die. You may have noticed that I haven't chosen an awful lot of characters to die, but that's because not a lot really happens in the Commonwealth arc in the comics. There's no major conflict or major war that takes place, so I don't really know how they're going to adapt it to screen. I think they may have to put in some original story arcs, whether it links to the CRM group or whatever. So I don't know. I don't know how it's going to translate. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, the last two seasons have been very good, so fingers crossed that the final season is as good. But yeah, I don't think a lot of people are going to die. I think that it's the final season of the show, and I know that Walking Dead is renowned and known for its deaths, but I just think that's the end of the show, and a lot of these characters deserve to kind of make it to the end and be happy. I also didn't say anything about the characters on Fear the Walking Dead, so that includes Dwight and Morgan, who of course were originally on The Walking Dead, because they might die on that show. They might not even come back to The Walking Dead. I mean, I know that Angela Kang has said that she would like to borrow Morgan for the final season of The Walking Dead, so perhaps Morgan will come back, but I don't know. I have no idea if they're going to come back on the show. So, I don't know. I mean, if they do come back, then I think they will both survive. I know Dwight dies in the comics, but his character on the show is far better than it is in the comics, in my opinion. He's much more fleshed out, and I don't think they would kill him. So yeah, I don't know if Morgan or Dwight will come back, but if they do, I think they will survive. So there you go, that is my predictions for every character on The Walking Dead. Please let me know your thoughts below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What do you think? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know. And I shall see you all very soon. Happy Christmas if I don't see you before then. And bye-bye.